Hi, everybody. This is Lowell, and we're talking about songwriting. And this next video, I wanted to talk about song form. And a lot of people think that song form is standard. I remember reading in it wasn't really a book about music, it was more about leadership, but it was the pastor of a church, and he was saying, stick to the basics, things that work. And, he made a comment, the best songs are always this same exact format, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. And anything that deviates from that pattern is not a successful song. And so I wanted to assure you that there are many more innumerable types of forms. And this kind of ties into understanding rhythm, song rhythm. And so there's all sorts of different kinds of rhythm that go into a song. But really, on a macro scale, the actual form of a song is, in essence, the kind of rhythm that goes into it on a very large scale. So I would encourage you to think in terms of what the lyrics are wanting. Lyrics are like poetry, and we talked about lyrics in the previous video, but the lyrics will pretty much define what kind of form you're going to have in the song. There is, an aspect of cyclical awareness, that, again, going back to the concept of rhythm, that when you bring back certain forms, when you bring back certain sections in the form, whether it be a chorus or bridge, or maybe jumping back into a half chorus or a partial bridge, or even, a partial verse, basically you're emphasizing certain aspects of the idea. And there have been songs that I've written that actually have absolutely no repeating sections. It's just a through-composed idea. There was one time that I wrote a song, basically a 20-minute song that had various sections, and it was meant to grow and develop over that period of time. And each section was through composed, and so it was like very similar to a classical symphony. Of course, in classical music, you do have recurring forms in what's called a sonata allegro form. But anyway, just the concept of a stream of consciousness would be another way of saying it. So there, no recurring thing, or if it does if it does recur, that it's done in a different way, in entirely different feeling or harmonies or tempo. So don't get locked into what is a good form or a bad form, or that you have to have always this standard form. Obviously pop music has gotten to a place where we have the 3-minute song that fits on the radio slot. And I've always maintained that that's not necessarily the healthiest guideline to always be hemmed into, that the song has to be only this style and only this length. I was talking to a highly respected songwriter, Nashville songwriter, and he said that he would get magazines in Nashville that would talk about the, kind of like the most prevalent style for writing in a certain song style, and that's what was accepted. And so he would endeavor to write in those kind of styles. Igor Stravinsky talked about limitations being placed upon himself. He says, the more limitations I place upon myself, the more creative I become to have to fit inside of those limitations. And if you want to set limitations, like a 3-minute, or an exact type of song structure, that's fine. As an artist, I prefer thinking that those, usually I try to break out of existing paradigms, try to expand an audience's listening capabilities. That's just how I am as an artist. I like pushing the boundaries instead of just locking myself inside of them. But nevertheless, my point to you today is really just to try to understand that there are many different ways of approaching song form, and probably the best way would be to allow the lyrics to dictate what you're wanting to accomplish. Um, Having said that, because I'm more melodic in my approach to songwriting, I many times allow the melody to dictate the song form. But there's no right or wrong. It's just my encouragement to you today is to try to expand your understanding of what song form can be, and understand that it is part of the rhythmic structure, part of the sense of where the song is going, what you're trying to convey, and give yourself as many opportunities to express your core convictions of why you're doing what you're doing, why you're writing the song in the first place. Let that be expressed also in the form of the song.